Yes.
We made it. We hit the line.
That's funny.
Why didn't you eat it?
I'm still eating. I had a lot on my plate. I like, honestly, my appetite, I think it's because I've been tired. I'm like so busy. It's like so diminished, which is good.
Oh.
I could lose like a little chunk, you know, like this piece.
Yeah, no.
People haven't gone in yet.
Oh, yeah. What is smart? She's doing that. She has.
I'm so happy to see you. I put this here for my friend Gretchen. She's really sweet.
All right, ladies, you guys ready? We're gonna get started. Carly, people haven't clicked in on Zoom yet, so they have not. You let me know when people come in, because they're in the waiting room.
Yeah, I'm trying to, well, I mean, I'm looking to see.
People, so I don't see. Are you on one site? I know, it's the same one, but you can go back and forth. So how do I go and see people? So right now it's just me. Make sure, yeah. I just know like everyone. I just have to. I put people, it's in the email. And that's on the floor. Okay. All right, well, we're gonna get started. Just in case. Hopefully everyone got the link. All right, everybody. Thank you guys for coming. I'm Janice Rivera, and this is Woven. Yes. So Woven stands for Women of Virtue and Excellence Network. And our mission statement is professional women who are woven together by our past experiences, our present skills and knowledge, so we can achieve our highest level of success. So what does success look like? It's not working.
Because I'm taking it.
I know, me too. But wait, can you go backwards? That's what I was thinking. You just read my mind right now. I'm serious.
Did you want to take a picture of that?
Yes.
Okay, here you go.
Thank you.
Okay. So there's five, I consider 5 pillars of success, and that's health, wealth, business, personal growth, and relationships. And with relationships, I mean relationships with God as well as other people. So that's the 5 pillars of success. So every woven event, I try to hit on one of these pillars. Okay. So a little bit about me. This is my husband and I. We are the Rivera Dream Team. We own 2 companies, a mortgage and real estate. So RDT Mortgage is the name of our company, and RDT Realty Group. So we're here for all your real estate and financing needs. So today I have an icebreaker question. There should be a poll. Is anybody on? That's what I'm thinking, but I'm gonna log on to see if it shows anybody. That's kind of weird. I need to register. Like I have 4 or 5 people registered for online. Okay, so we're gonna do an icebreaker question. I had a poll for the online people, but I don't see them yet. So the icebreaker question is, what do you guys think is the #1 cause of stress over the holidays? And the choices are family obligation and cooking, shopping for others, time off work, for travel, overspending or not sticking to a budget, overeating, drinking, or overeating and drinking, which leads to illness.
Personal.
So,
Just answer.
like, yeah, number 4. Number 4?
Yeah, 4.
4?
I think 1.
Who said 2? Who says number 1?
I think 1.
Number 1. Who says number, so
Yeah.
2 people, number 1, number 2? Who says number 2?
Yeah.
For summer it is. Who says number 3? Okay, number 4. Who says number 4? 3, okay, and number 5.
I overanalyzed.
Okay, so, all right, well, we're gonna go into that. You guys are gonna find out, okay?
people at work.
You're
in trouble.
Oh, okay. Okay. Go ahead and let it just.
Oh, for the most it's done.
Okay. So, and then all, and then all right there. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so I'm going to talk about stress over the holidays. So obviously this is our last woven event, and I want to be around that people start winding down. Sometimes if you are an entrepreneur, most people start winding down towards the end of the year. And so stress kind of picks up because the holidays are coming. So if your business is starting to slow down and holidays are coming, which means more money being spent, more time, stress kind of kicks in. So I want to talk about the happiness trap. So I did some research on stress and business people. And one of the biggest things we talk about is called the happiness trap. And what that is everyone thinks because Christmas is here, holidays here, everyone should be cheerful and joyful. And, you have songs like have a holly jolly Christmas,
So cute.
and I personally
That's
love
so cute.
the Christmas time, but I do know that it can be stressful for me. Number one, it's the holidays. Number two, I have my husband's birthday's in December, my daughter's birthday's in December, and I have a son whose birthday's in January.
Wow.
So I have like triple whammy stress, shopping, because of course they don't want everything combined. They want their own stuff. So there's a pressure to be jolly is one of the things that causes the happiness trap. There's an expectation of who's going to host and where, right? Expectation to have family get together, giving gifts, the perfect holiday meal, and then changes in your routine. If you're traveling, going to parties, that can also, and your structure, that also leads to stress, okay? And when we try too hard to be happy, sometimes we end up making ourselves miserable. So, oops. This, oops, back. So that's me after a day of shopping. So according to the survey of American Psychological Association, 38% of people say their stress level increases during the holidays. Another survey by Investment with the Principal Financial Group revealed that 53% of people feel financially stressed by holiday spending, even though they have a budget. They still feel the pressure of it. And one unique fact that I included in here, how many of you think or heard that depression, anxiety, stress happens more around Christmas time?
Yeah.
That suicide goes up?
Mhm.
Well, I thought that too, until I found out the statistic that says, despite the widely held belief that suicide peaks during the holidays, evidence strongly suggests that's not the case. That actually suicide rate actually peaks between April and August, while the winter months, November, December, and January, see the lowest daily suicide rates.
Wow.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
So that was news. I thought I'd throw that in there. So
Is that when all the debt comes in?
maybe. Maybe. Or you have like, or you have taxes and you're like stressed out about your tax bill. So that's why when all your credit card debt starts piling in, that could probably be it. So of course, the number one source of holiday stress is overspending. And that's
I'm
my
impressed
stress.
that it was like half the people, so 500 out of 1,000, more than half had a budget.
Yes, and they still felt stressed.
Yeah.
So here's some tips with dealing with holiday stress. And so of course, number one is acknowledge your feelings, reaching out for help, meaning not just when I say help, like asking family members to help you, friends, like anybody that's your support system, asking them for help. Be realistic in your expectations. A lot of times there's this pressure from family members, pressure from the outside world. You see things on social media, these perfect picture, Instagram pictures, and you're like, I have to, have this perfect holiday cheer with a matching jammies and perfect tree. So like, not the comparison trap is a big deal. Set aside your differences. Obviously stick to a budget. There's some alternatives for, homemade gifts. I don't know, depends on the gift. Like knitting some socks. I don't know, that'd be great. Donating some to people, like donating it to a charity in their behalf, if they're like hard to shop for. And if you have huge families, who has big families and they've done family gift exchanges? Yeah, that's also really good too. Planning ahead, saying no to things if that's possible, especially if you get invited to a lot of holiday parties and events. It's so easy to have FOMO, you know, fear of missing out, but then you find yourself like you're just burnt out and then you're obviously overeating and over drinking. Don't abandon your healthy habits. If you're exercising, continue exercising. Try to stick, if you're going to go out to a nice meal in the evening, try to stick to, you know, being healthy during the day. So that way at night you can cheat and not feel so crappy about it. And then taking a breather, making time for yourself to do things to enjoy. And if all else fails, if you start yourself feeling really depressed or anxious, seeking professional help, which we have Sandy today who's going to be speaking on that. So here's some tips up there, how to fight the holiday blues. I'll let you guys kind of look at that. So that's pretty much that. Any questions on that? No? Okay. So I saw this movie, this skit from SNL, and I thought I'd share this. So I'm going to finish this off with this. So how many of you guys have had those kind of holidays?
Yes.
I personally have had those kind of holidays. So I thought this was perfect. When I saw this, I laughed.
Well, they're about to come back.
So
I know, they're traveling. It's different for me
That's a
now.
perfect reason.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you
because
mean
I'm
to-
here.
Yeah, that makes sense.
there we go. So that's it for me for today. So the main event is going to be Sandy. So I've known Sandy for, how long have we known each other? Like 3 years, 4 years?
Just before your kids started college, I know that much.
Yeah, so I've known,
Several years.
yes. So I got in touch with Sandy. So Sandy's a Christian counselor, and I was going through a season in my life where I kind of lost my purpose. So I had an anesthesia background. I was losing joy in that. And then I was debating whether or not to go into business with my husband and all the struggles of that. And so, and then dealing with things with the kids. And Sandy was, I don't know who introduced me to you or mentioned you to me, but she has been a huge, tremendous resource for me when if you're going through something and you're stuck in your life. She really helped me. She gave me tools and tips and gave me things to hold me accountable to take my life to the next level, which I ended up doing with getting into business with my husband. She gave me like some Christian ministry as well as practical steps to overcome if you're stuck in anything in your life. So she has been a tremendous resource for me. She has an extensive background. So she is board certified Christian mental health coach. She also does premarital and marriage counseling, and she received her undergraduate degree from PLNU in psychology, and she continued her studies in mental health at Light University. Her mission is to help people heal, thrive, and live an abundant life. So without further ado, I'm going to have Sandy come up, and she's going to teach you on tips on self-care. So yours up. You are. Janice, I don't see you running the way you were. Do you want to check one more time? Is there before me? Let's see. What do I see? It's on top though. Oh, I see. Waiting room. Okay, on the adder. Yeah, hold on. Let me add that. That wasn't there a second. Okay. Okay, perfect. Okay, I'll see you.
Yep.
Keep an eye on that.
I
know,
know.
Sarah.
Hi, my name's Sandy Ische. I know Janice already did an amazing job at introducing me, better than I expected, so I'm humbled by that. Thank you so much. No worries. How many of you guys, just to start with an open question.
Excuse me one second. I don't think you're on camera. You're on the other side of the table. Janice.
So yeah,
Where do I
I
stand?
don't think she's on camera if she stands on that side of the table.
what she stands here.
She needs to stand at least a little bit more towards this side of the table.
Okay.
So right here.
Like right there, I can see you. Anywhere like the middle of the table this way, I can see you
I can do next.
on the Zoom
Okay, I
recording.
can do next slide for you. I'll sit right here. Just tell me next slide.
just to start with the question, how many of you guys prioritize your self-care?
That's why they're here.
Just making sure we're all on the same page. Well, hopefully by the end of today, you guys will have some practical tools to help you with that. So I don't want anyone to feel guilty. As a matter of fact, I had Janice print this self-care sheet that I've used with my self-care parties and my clients. So you'll have a tool to take with you to help you get started, but we'll also do some interactive steps today. Okay. Feel free to ask questions along the way. Just a little bit about myself. Janice did say I'm a Christian mental health coach. I'm married. I have 2 kids and 2 dogs. So I'm definitely a dog lover. I also love sunsets, the beach and nature, walking, reading, and baking, just in case anybody's interested. And so I want to start with a story that I read recently, actually, in my YouVersion devotional, and I thought it was really impactful and fitting for our topic, connecting stress and the importance of taking care of ourselves. So it reads like this. It says, during the height of World War II, Winston Churchill, the Lion of London, was in the only bomb shelter in London where he conducted and met with his generals. They were under attack and the Nazis were dropping bombs over England. France had fallen. The whole outside of this war was on his shoulders. In the midst of this, he left the bomb shelter and went out to his house in the country to work in his rose garden. So in the midst of the war, he goes to his garden. And so they come and they say to him, Mr. Churchill, why are you doing this? There's a war going on. We could lose it and lose the free world, and you're spending time in your rose garden. To which he replied, no, you do not understand. If I keep staying in that bomb shelter, giving orders and hearing about all the things that are happening, and I keep using the same part of my mind all the time to make decisions to push this war effort forward, I'm going to get empty. I have to remove myself from that arena and go to an opposite field. Sometimes I something I thoroughly enjoy, he said, that restores the portion of my creativity and my decision-making ability. So when I come back to the war room, I am fresh, I am alert, and I make proper decisions. I wasn't going to share this portion, but in speaking to Krista earlier today, I was reminded, I did an interview a few months ago over the summer with Dr. David Cummings. He's a Point Loma Nazarene University professor in biology. Long story short, he has a book called Everybody's Got Bears, and it's about stress and anxiety and mental health. And the reason he wrote that is because he was having physical symptoms. And so I'm trying to do my best to remember. I did read a whole lot. It was a lot of tools, good stuff. So if you are interested in reading that, I would recommend it. But long story short was that for 2 months, he was having pain to the point of, throwing up and not able to get out of bed and other internal symptoms. Kept going to the doctors for 2 months, getting all these lab works. And he's so cute in his interview because he's like, well, I'm a biologist. I know what's wrong with me, right? And of course, all the exams came back negative. And so he's at this point, 2 months have gone by and he's planning for the worst, like, what's going on here. And fortunately, one of the doctors says, I've seen this before. And he's like, okay. And he's like, would you be willing to see a psychiatrist? And so, of course, at that point, you're like, yes, like anything, please, right? And so he goes to the psychiatrist, and that's actually where his healing journey begins. Because it wasn't about what was, yes, obviously it was about what was going on inside, but there was also more going on that wasn't in the surface, which was causing stress. So he was diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder. When he goes to the psychiatrist starts just asking him the basic questions like, okay, like tell me about what's going on in your life right now, like nothing unusual, right? You know, go to work, have my family, kids, you know, things to do. Okay, tell me about the last year. So he starts, excuse me, again, telling.
Yeah, just drink your water. Hold on.
Sorry.
I drank yours by accident.
That's right. Thanks. So he starts asking him, so what's been going on the last year? Which again sounds kind of like, you know, work and nothing unusual, right? And then he says something like, tell me about, and I can't remember if he said the last 5 or 10 years. And that's where he starts saying, like, and I'm trying to remember, because I want to do, I want to say it properly. But it was like, I lost my brother. Like, I lost my brother-in-law. So it was like 3 immediate family members that he had lost in a short period of time. And maybe we can all relate that sometimes, you know, life is busy and we keep going. It's like we survive, but we're just surviving and we don't even realize it. And so it got to the point where it was so bad that he was literally ending up in the hospital, you know, until the doctor was able to diagnose him and then he was able to begin that healing journey. So all that to say, I mean, that's why I'm so passionate about, you know, self-care, because to me, self-care is a preventative measure that, you know, we can put in place. So what is stress? And I'm sorry I'm losing my voice.
Okay, take this off.
Yeah.
There's the person. There we go. Right there.
Perfect. So what is stress? Stress is a physical and emotional reaction that people experience as they encounter changes in life. Stress is a normal feeling. However, long-term stress may contribute to or worsen a range of health problems, including our digestive disorder, headaches, sleep disorder, and other symptoms. Stress may worsen asthma and has been linked to depression, anxiety, and other mental illness. This is the National Center for Complementary and Interactive Health. Thank you. I don't normally lose my voice. So on that note, I have a little video, if we can go to the video, that I thought would just be perfect at explaining in a visual sense.
Because students have a lot on their
Stress is usually seen as something we need to avoid. This is not true. We need stress, and we need our body's stress hormone cortisol to rise and fall throughout the day. Stress helps us wake up in the morning, helps us focus, learn, and remember new things. It's when people experience too much stress and start having difficulties coping that stress becomes a problem. High levels of stress can disrupt the natural changes in the body's stress response system and start to affect our physical and mental health. Over time, accumulated stress can result in false FFF response activations. When trying to measure our stress tolerance, the bucket analogy can be helpful. Our stress tolerance, or the size of our bucket, is a product of our genes, personality, and life experiences, and its size varies from person to person. The water in this analogy is the combination of all the stress in your life. We use the coping strategies we have available to keep our bucket from overflowing. They are like taps that allow water to drain from the bucket. Stress can include training, work, school, relationships, finances, moving, changing jobs, or the loss of a loved one. Both positive and negative experiences will affect the water level. A big bucket can hold more water or stress before it overflows. With a smaller bucket, less water is required for the water or stress level to become critical. While you can't change the size of your bucket, you can make life adjustments to reduce water coming in. You can also learn new coping strategies and stress management techniques to allow water to drain out. Mind tools, exercise, quality sleep, relaxation, and sharing your feelings with friends are some examples of effective water taps. Staying up late, sleeping in, drugs, inactivity, procrastination, suppressing or ignoring problems are examples of unhelpful coping strategies or false taps. They might give temporary relief, but actually result in water flowing back into your bucket. This video was created by Brave, building healthy.
It's good, huh? Good video, good, a visual. I love that. So I thought that would be fitting for today. So in front of you also, I printed a fact sheet. And so it's just, here's just a few facts related to how stress affects our well-being according to MedAlert Health. Who can maybe skim through it and let me know if there's anything on there that that maybe surprises you the most? It does say nearly 25% of people report feeling extremely stressed during the holidays. 25%, that's a lot.
For the 45%, so almost half of college students seek counseling due to stress. That's crazy already,
Yeah,
where you're not even on your own. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're still in college, but that stress.
yeah, yeah.
Even the 80% of millennials are stressed out about money. About what? Money.
About money.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah. Mhm. And then it says 1 in 5 college students have thought about suicide.
Wow.
Horrible.
It is really, really
That's
sad.
not surprising.
Really sad. It's like,
Is that because of college debt?
I
or
know,
some
I'm
stress of the
laughing because I'm
work?
coping.
well, I mean, it's a combination
Yeah.
of things. I mean, a few years back, I don't know if you even have heard of this, because I hadn't a few years back, but a lot of college students even sleep in their cars.
Wow.
And when I was working at Point, when I was in university, one of the students that was working in our department at the time, she had some roommates in an apartment, and they would not turn on the heater in the middle of winter. I mean, I know we're in San Diego, but still, you know, just because they couldn't afford it.
Oh.
So just, yeah, I sometimes I don't think that we, you know, think about how others are affected by, you know, certain life circumstances. So I just thought that those were some interesting facts that you could visualize. So our emotions are associated with stress. This is more than 8 in 10 Americans, that's 84%, report feeling emotions associated with stress in the last 2 weeks, which is like feeling anxious, sad, or angry. So what is self-care? It's the ability of individuals, families, and communities to promote health, to prevent disease, to maintain health, and to cope with illness and disability with or without the support of the healthcare provider. Meaning, of course, that we could do some preventative measures on our own. So self-care is taking a proactive role in our well-being. It helps us manage stress and prevent burnout, and it helps us to create balance in our work and in life. And I love this picture. It's just so happy. Self-care helps us to cultivate life balance because it motivates us to be proactive in our overall well-being. And I love the idea of being like proactive in promoting our own well-being, because a lot of times when we are depressed, you know, like when I've spoken to friends, maybe you guys can relate to this also, you know, if I haven't heard from them, you know, and it's someone, you know, I talk to, okay, you know, on a regular basis, you know, I know something's going on, right? And if they tell me why I was sad or I was depressed or whatever, I didn't want to talk to anyone, or I was in bed, or I couldn't eat or whatever, I'm like, those are the times when you definitely need your friends the most.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely don't want to self-isolate. So one way that we can be intentional about our self-care is to implement a self-care routine. Does anybody have a self-care routine?
I do.
Oh, let's hear it.
Right,
I'm like, what is
Yeah, give us the rundown.
It's really
The
easy
rundown.
to, I guess I should be, who can see me.
So it's really easy to, as soon as you wake up, what's the first thing you do? Go for your phone and start looking at social media. Good right there? So it's easy to look to be on social media. So I'm tempted to do that as soon as I grab my phone, be on there. So I try not to do that. So as soon as I get up, fortunately, I live right by the beach on the bay. So I will get up, I will bring my devotional with me and I go sit, make my cup of coffee. So I have to have coffee. So I make my cup of coffee, I bring my devotion, I sit outside and I spend at least 10 minutes with God in the morning. So I have a devotional that has daily scriptures. You can get the Bible app and they have like a daily thing where it's like a video and then a scripture and things to think about. So I do that and then I exercise and then I check my emails, phone calls and stuff like that. So that's my routine. I have to do that first. And I learned that from my husband because he's notorious. He will get up at 4 or 5 in the morning.
Wow.
And
What time do you get up, Janice?
I get up at 6:30. He gets up at 4:35.
Getting up early is key before like the world starts.
Yes. Yeah, I get up at 6. I mean, it's harder now that it gets darker later. Like I used to get up at 5:30, but now that it's like, I wake up at 5:30, it's like, oh, it's too dark. And I close everything. But that's what I do before I do anything. That's my self-care routine. And actually, she's the one who helped me start develop the self-care routine and a journaling.
Sandy, do you have business cards?
You know, I just ordered stuff, but on the last page, you will see, I do have my contact
yes.
information, which is why I wanted to make sure that I printed these out for you guys. But yes, I mean, here's some great ideas. I mean, for me, I'm like Janice. I mean, if I get up first thing in the morning and I have to, you know, it already energizes me and it already gets me to be productive. You know, like my daughter asked me the other day, Mom, did you always make your bed in the morning like when you were a little girl? And like, still, it makes me happy. It makes me happy. And before I even go downstairs to fix breakfast, I've already got one thing done. You know, and depending on your strength, if you have high achiever strength, you want to check that off first, you know. But I always pray before I go downstairs. So that's another thing I do every single morning. It's like I get on my knees and I pray and I thank the Lord for the day. So that's definitely one way. Anybody else? Anything on here that maybe you do already that you start your day, or anything you want to implement now that you know?
I think getting up early is just key. And the hardest part is when there's someone next to you who's not getting up early. And then your whole day is just behind, right? But if I do get up early, then I feel like I own my day. There's actually that book, Own the Day or something, and that was awesome. It makes or breaks my whole day and week, whether I get up early or not. And I don't know how to make myself get up early sometimes when I get out of that routine.
It's so true. And I have clients tell me that all the time, like it already sets my mind.
And like you said, you already feel accomplished. You're like, oh, everything else will be easy. I already got my main things out of the way.
Yeah. Yeah. So now I have a little bit of an exercise that I thought would be fun for us to do for maybe the next 5 or 10 minutes. And you'll see a sheet that I passed out. It says SWOT on it.
Myself, your SWOT analyst.
Yeah, it looks like this.
Okay.
And for the people on Zoom, because they might not have gotten it, do you want to tell them real quick what they can
Sure, sure. So if you're at home, go ahead and draw 4 boxes, kind of like this. Hopefully you can see it if you're at home. But I think we might all be familiar already with the SWOT for business, you know. And so that's around strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So when it comes to our self-care, though, I specifically will put down strengths. Celebrate your wins. So can you list what is going well with your self-care right now? What is going well with your self-care? And we already kind of had an example of some ideas. Where are you cultivating self-care in business and in life? And what are your strongest areas in taking care of your needs? So one of my wins, for instance, is that I started earlier this year with a mission of, I want to get back in shape. I want to get back in shape, right? And so I started working, like my goal was to do 5 days a week, and I knew I wouldn't do that the first week. But I started with 2, which became 3, which now is 5. And that was my goal. If I could do it Monday through Friday, that's great. You know, Saturday is hard because my daughter comes knocking on the door and says, Mom, it's breakfast time. We got to get up. And I'm like, okay. And then Sunday I go to church. So 5 days a week works great for me. So that's a win for me. Anybody else?
I said taking care of my relationship and my husband.
Yes. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. Relationships are key. They're important.
I created a war room for myself, which is really good. A closet. It literally is a closet. And I go in there.
What do you
close
call
and
it?
slam
A war room?
Yeah.
It's
Like
a
a
movie.
prayer, like a
Like a
prayer.
movie. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's where I can go, like, really have my time. So instead of before, I used to just stay in bed and do my devotional. And now when I like go to that place, I feel like it's a retreat.
Yeah.
And that's also where like my husband knows that's my space. So he's not like, oh, hey, are you done? Like,
That's good.
like peeking in.
That's awesome.
I love that. I'm struggling with that right now. I was trying to do a workout yesterday and my boyfriend's like on the couch, he's feeling well, he's watching TV and has this background, it's like distractions. Like I have a hard time with distractions, so I love that idea. I have to create that space.
Nice. I love it. I love it. Thanks for sharing. Anybody else?
That's cool. I feel healthy when I read every day. Like that really helps me.
Yeah.
Always reading.
Yeah. Anything you're reading that you want to share with us right now?
Well, I'm reading a book called The One Thing right now, which is good. Have you read it?
That's on my list.
It's on my, next.
Yep.
It's good. I don't know if it's like a favorite, but I feel like depending on the season you're in, it could be like such a good book. I feel like that's what makes a good book. That's what someone else talked about it. So, I mean, it's good, but I'm excited for the next one. Actually, I have one coming in the mail. It's like something about men or something, or Wild at Heart. Wild at Heart.
Yeah.
Have you read that?
No, but there's the
Isn't it-
women's, it's,
I was gonna say, isn't it for men?
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah,
for
but
men, but there's captivating, that's the women's side, and then Wild at Heart is the men. It's the same author, but she writes the book for women, which I think is called Captivating.
Mm.
And then for the guy's perspective, it's Wild at Heart.
Yeah, so cool. Oh, one thing I did want to say, can I say this about one thing that I read in the book that I thought was cool? Because it talks about willpower. And sometimes we think we have this unlimited supply, but the way the book put it was it's more of like your phone, how you charge your phone, you have 100% battery life. Like each day we only have a certain amount, and it's like you're going to use that amount doing different stuff. So choose the things that really matter to do first. So you have the willpower on reserve. Otherwise, you have to retreat and you have to recharge. So that way you can accomplish everything. So if you push the things that you really want to get done till the end of the day, where's your willpower now? Like,
You're too tired.
yeah, it's gonna be too hard.
Definitely. And then maybe listing some of the weaknesses, you know, what is not going well. What are the stressors affecting your business or your work-life balance? Or what are the stresses what stresses you most about the holiday season?
Working in retail
Working-
during it.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Making sure my yes is my best yes, and not just a guilty yes. Like, okay, I'll go. And I'm not really wanting to do the thing I'm like accepting. So making sure the yes is the best.
That's
Oh, I
good.
love that.
That's good.
It's kind of like Janice was talking about earlier about feeling obligated during the holidays to say yes to everything. I know I've been there.
Yeah, I've done that a lot. So I think that stressed you out.
You feel pulled,
Yeah.
like being at one party and then, oh, what time is it? Okay, we gotta hurry up and go to the next one.
Right.
Yeah, then you don't you're not in that moment.
Parking on board for you.
Opportunities, start with the end in mind. What vision are you striving for when you think of your self-care and having a balanced life? What is missing in your self-care that will help you prevent stress and create the life you want? Megan?
Discipline.
Discipline, yeah.
I was gonna say, I think just making sure I make fun a priority,
I love it.
because
That is a great goal.
I can be so structured and so focused, and I have so much energy anymore, you know, only so much energy.
I was like,
anymore.
wow, what's your secret?
Only so much energy anymore. And so I am a business before pleasure kind of person, but I find that when I take time out of whatever it is I'm so regimented on, I feel refreshed. And I come back and go, you know what, I came back with the same level of productivity that I would have had if I had just stayed on my regiment. And sometimes it's just going out and redirecting your focus on something pleasant, relaxing,
Yeah.
being with friends, whatever it is you like to do.
Yes.
And then going back and you're just like, well, gosh, I still was productive. How did that happen? But it does.
I totally agree with you, but then the trick is like redirecting back to the structure. Because once you kind of go on that road, then you come back and I feel guilty that I was like having too much fun. So then you put that constant balance of like how much, like the 80-20 balance thing or something. But I totally agree with you, come back stronger if you give it to yourself.
I would recommend let go of the guilt because you deserve it. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to have, fun time. And then finally, threats. No time for me time is actually kind of going back to that story of if we don't make that intentional time for ourselves, we don't want to end up like in the hospital or something.
Yeah.
I want pictures of her war room. Show more detail on that. What is it? WAR, like the really war? Is that a thing? Like, where's that from?
It was a movie.
It's
It was a Christian movie.
Between you and God, I go in and strategize like for the season or for that day.
So it's like a religious thing? Like you guys
It's a
learn-
Christian, it was a Christian movie where a lady, it was called The War Room.
Okay.
Where this lady had a literal closet that she turned into a prayer closet.
Yeah, and you write out your prayers, your scripture, but it can be whatever anchors you. Like, so if you need like motivational quotes, then go in with your favorite book and then write out quotes and have like the key things that guide you through that season. So I have like a quarterly thing going on and like a monthly thing and then like a weekly.
I love that.
thing.
Might check out that.
Yes. All right.
All right. So hopefully you have not heard of some of these strategies. I didn't want to talk about breathing because I know a lot of us already know that one. But I do have a few. No?
Oh, it helps, the breathing. thing?
Yes,
It does help.
definitely helps. Definitely helps. I have nothing against it. I'm just wanting to bring something new.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So,
So the first one, I'm not sure if anyone's heard about it. It's called sober stress interrupter technique. Nobody? All right. Well,
Where are
hopefully-
we?
So I'm just, so it's something that I have,
okay.
that I'm just introducing.
Okay.
So this is through a company called Positive Psychology. They created this sober stress interrupter technique, which can help with stepping out of autopilot reactions to stress, taking a mindful pause and deliberately choosing a more helpful response to stressful situations. So the acronym stands for STOP, observe, breathe, expand, and respond. The way it works is stop what you're doing. This will help you step out of autopilot and keep your mind in the present moment. So stop and be present. Observe what is happening in your body and in your mind. Notice any thoughts, emotions, and body sensations, whether pleasant or unpleasant, and rather than trying to push them away, simply acknowledge them. So acknowledging our emotions, because that's important. If we don't acknowledge them, you know, it leads to maybe some physical things that we talked about. Breathe in, breathe out, like you said, Lauren, right? And pay attention to your breathing. This will help you slow your thoughts and relax your body. So it helps us calm down. Expand your awareness of your whole body and your surroundings. This will help you see the bigger picture and understand the stressful experience for what it is. So awareness. And then finally, R, respond with awareness rather than autopilot. I like to look at it as in, are we responding to the situation? Or are we reacting? You know, that's how I like to look at it. Now that you have taken a moment to observe and assess the situation, you will be in a better position to logically consider the responses available to you and the consequences of those responses. So you ask yourself, what response will be the right, helpful right now? Then another one, this one can be found on Mind Tools. And you guys have my email, so if you guys need any of this that you find helpful, I'm happy to send you the information. So it's either a stress diary or writing for emotional balance. So the idea behind stress diaries is that you regularly record information about stresses that you're experiencing so that you can analyze and then manage them. So the causes of stress, the levels of pressure at which you operate most effectively, and how you can improve the way you manage stress. So this is how it works. You know, so you write in your diary, the date and time, the most recent stressful event that you experienced, and then you record how unhappy or how happy you feel right at this moment on a scale of 0 to 10, with 10 being the happiest. And then how effectively you're working, again, with the scale of 0 to 10, with 0 being ineffective, or 10 being, this is my greatest effectiveness that you've achieved. And the fundamental causes. So then you know the fundamental causes of stress. Does that make sense?
Are you supposed to do this every day?
I'm sorry?
Are you supposed to do this every day? Or
Yes.
just- Really? Oh, every day.
Every day. Yeah.
Just so every day. How interesting.
Yep.
Wow. I've never heard that.
Yeah, I think that the idea
I've heard
behind
of
like
diary, but
diaries and like journaling and stuff is that you can see patterns and triggers and things like that. So on a day-to-day basis, when we're not keeping track of that, we're like not really thinking about it, you know? But as we look back, we're like, oh my gosh, that day I remember what happened, and I was arguing with my boss, and then I got upset and blah, 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 you know, something like that. So that you kind of start to see the patterns.
Wow. I think it's interesting to acknowledge, well, now that you're talking about it and saying like every day there's something that could have been stressful.
Yeah.
So you're writing about it. And it
Yeah.
could be like a 1 that day, but still like every day we are going to experience stress. It's like how we're going to interpret it.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's
deal
good
with
stress
it.
too.
Yeah.
Like when you get married, it's a lot of stress, but it's you stress. So it's good stress. So there's good and bad stress, kind of like the bucket talked about.
That's cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. And so then also you would write the symptoms that you felt like, you know, did you have a headache? Were you angry? Were you hungry? You know, because I know when I'm hungry, I'm grouchy.
Yep, me too. It's called hangry.
There we go. We have an official name. And how well you handle the stress. And how, you know, did your reactions help to solve the problem, or did it make it worse?
Ooh, good question.
So again, in this way, you can go back and look at patterns and triggers and how you can better manage and improve those emotions. And then there's homework that I like to give my clients sometimes when they're going through a difficult, like stressful, negative situation. So then I ask them to journal it, what exactly happened. And then when they're not in that negative space anymore, maybe a few hours pass by or whatever, now I'm feeling better, I'm calmer, I'm okay. Going back and rewriting the same scenario, but this time put in how you would like to respond.
Wow,
Not
that's
really
cool.
Now you're in control.
Wow.
You're in control. And next time it happens, you've seen these patterns already. And so now you're able to respond and not react. You know?
Yep. Ooh,
So.
good.
So now there's grounding or being mindful. So grounding is the technique used to help you detach from your emotional pain. It helps you to focus on something other than that pain that you're being caused right now or it's causing pain. Grounding can also be thought of as centering, distracting, creating a safe place, or healthy detachment. So grounding can be used as a way to gain control over your feelings and prevent things from getting worse. It gives you a chance to calm down so you can eventually address the problem. So sometimes when I'm talking to couples and maybe, at least with every couple that I've experienced, one wants to resolve the conflict right now. The other one wants to process, So I always tell them this is normal. I've never met a couple who they both want to resolve it now or they both want to not talk about it because that's not going to resolve anything. But if you allow yourself, let's say the wife wants to resolve it right now, but the husband's like, wait, I'm processing this. Then give yourself whatever, the hour or two, but tell them, can we talk about this in an hour? That way I've had time to pray or think about it, think of the steps, is it a financial situation or whatever it may be, but then you come back and you're both calm, so it allows you to be in a better place. Another grounding technique, I'm not sure if you guys have heard of it. It's the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 grounding technique. Has anyone heard of it? No. Okay. So this one is 5. Acknowledge 5 things that you can see around you. Because again, the grounding or being mindfulness, you're being distracted from whatever's causing you that negativity. So stop and notice 5 things that are around you.
I heard that one, you listen to the bird or you see the wave or
Yes.
is it a sensory thing? Just
No.
It sounds a little familiar.
Yeah. So it's acknowledging 5 things that you see, and then acknowledge 4 things that you can touch.
Oh, that's a lot of things.
Yeah.
Then acknowledge 3 things that you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can touch. It relates to your senses, but hopefully by the time you're done, you're a lot calmer than you were, 5 seconds ago.
And one thing that what? I'm sorry.
1 thing that you can taste.
Taste.
It could be the toothpaste from this morning, or it could be, I don't know.
Your icebreaker. What
Your
were
breath
the?
mint, your
Yes, yes,
Altoid.
yes, exactly.
What was 4, 3, and 2?
So acknowledging 5 things you see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you hear, 2 things you smell, and 1 thing you taste.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And then the last one, a mood lifter toolkit or my feel better plan, for instance. This is basically a list of things that you can do when you're feeling in a funk. Some of my clients call it a funk. Sad or depressed to help put you in a happier state. Because when we feel this way, we tend to, again, pull away from people that care about us. And I think that's really important to acknowledge, because we don't want that to happen. God doesn't want that to happen, So I encourage you to create a happy list of people that you can call who care about you and want to encourage you and give you good counsel when you're feeling sad. In addition to writing down activities that you enjoy doing, because sometimes when we're not feeling good, we're not thinking about what's going to make me feel good right now. We're thinking about, I'm just going to crawl in bed and not come out for another week, or something, instead of thinking, okay, I'm going to turn the music up, or I'm going to dance in my kitchen, or I'm going to go watch a comedy, or maybe I'm going to eat a scoop or a gallon of Rocky Road ice cream, but whatever's going to make you happy, for me, it would be my giant schnauzer, I call her my therapy dog. You know, if I'm not feeling good, I'm gonna go up to my Minnie. Everybody always says, why do you call her Minnie? Her real name is Wilhelmina, for my husband's grandmother, who had, you know, she passed away, but, and so we call her Minnie, you know, but
And she's
anyway.
not many, obviously.
And she's not Minnie, not Minnie, but she's so therapeutic and she's so sweet, you know. I don't know if you guys have dogs.
Yeah, dogs are really good for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, as soon as I look at her eyes, I'm like, oh, I already feel better, you know. So, and then lastly, also a self-care box, you know, where you can put things that if you're not feeling good, what is going to make you feel good? And you open up the box, and it could be like pictures of your family. It could be chocolate, you know. It could be like, for me, it would be a card from my husband that I read it and it says, I love you. You know, that's going to make me feel good and loved and valued. It could be a scented candle. It could be a stuffed animal. It could be scripture. Scented soap, like Lush has tons of scented soap.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I like. Any takeaways from today? Anything you learned or you want to use?
Okay, yeah. That whole last section was so good.
Oh, great.
That was really good. I loved it.
Thank
Sandy,
you.
do you want to share? So I was part of a 30-day self-care challenge, which is how I thought of bringing Sandy here to speak. So she talks about creating vision boards. And so I have vision boards. Most of us think of vision boards for work, right? Or like goals. But she actually had a vision board that we had to do for self-care, things that we can see that visually appeal us. So Sandy, you want to share
Yeah.
and maybe hold it up for the people on Zoom, your
Yeah.
self-care
And
board?
it's interesting because originally my direction was going, my mind was going in a different direction where I was going to do 1 through 30 and put what I could do every single day, just to have all these different ideas. But then I went a different direction, you know, self-care, scripture, Jesus is at my center. It's actually my daughter, my son, me, my husband. Setting boundaries, I think, is important. And obviously, if you haven't read this book, it's amazing. And then, you know, being with friends when you're sad, you know, being in Bible study, just hanging out with girlfriends. I mean, there's pretty much not a week that I don't have girlfriends that I go out with. It's just, we should all have that. That's my opinion, you know, that we should. Because if I am going through something, who am I going to tell? You know? And I love my husband, and my husband's my best friend. I can tell him anything, but I also need girl interaction, you know? So this would be, for instance, me and my dog, Sunset, me and my husband. This is a giant schnauzer, by the way. This one is. So this is not us, but that's a giant schnauzer. This one says vacation time means family time. And then just some self-care ideas that I would do that would be like my happy thing, you know, that we kind of talked about already. I have avocado toast twice a week. Yes. Staying hydrated is my goal. I have smoothies on a regular basis. I do get 8 hours of sleep. I try to get a facial once a month. I love acai bowls. Make time for what makes you happy. This would potentially be my husband and me, you know, hanging out. Quality time is my #1 love language. Having a morning routine to me is important. And then mental health is important to God.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
That's so nice.
Thank you.
All right. So now we're going to be open to Q&A, and I stopped the screen sharing. So if anybody on Zoom wants to hop on, either put on the chat. If you want to raise your hand, we can add you on. But yeah, if we want, is there any questions you guys have for me or Sandy about what we talked about today?
Yeah, so what happens, what do you do basically when you fall out of routine? So I was like, well, I'm very hard on myself with everything. Just like not following routine in general, which I'm already really horrible at because I am a really bad boundary setter and I love working apparently. So I do love working, I really do, and I love my job, and I think that's probably why I work too much. But I was sick for like a week, and now I'm like so off of like where I'm supposed to be. And
Yeah.
so how do you like get back on again?
Yeah, first of all, I would say give yourself grace because we're not perfect, you know, and we're all gonna fall sometime, you know, due to illness or something else. So I would say first give yourself grace, and then I would say start with baby steps, like commit to a day. Let's say Monday, starting Monday, I'm going to get back on that routine and, you know, have it in advance. What does that routine look like to you? And then maybe it means committing once a week for a week or two. And then maybe it means committing to 2 days until you get to where you want to be. So that's what I would recommend. Yeah, but give yourself grace.
How much like alone time do you think that you need just to process and plan and set those boundaries and reflect, you know, whatever it is that, because whatever she said that she needs and you were advising, it actually like takes time to
Yeah.
do that. So like if you don't calendar that time in, then those things don't get time blocked.
Right,
So
right.
what do you think is like a good balance of like, how much time do you need alone to actually process and plan all of that?
Yeah, and that one does not have a clear answer, and I'll tell you why. How many in here are extroverts? How many of you are introverts? Okay.
I'm extrovert.
Yeah, so, and so realizing our personality as far as extrovert and introvert is part of it. But also where our strengths are, you know. So one, I'm an achiever. In the strength finder, I'm an achiever. So I'm more like, I'm sorry, I don't know your name, but you had said you had a lot of energy,
No, I do not anymore.
but you used
I
to.
only have so much.
Yeah.
So I have to watch how I spend it.
Yeah, so I still am in that a lot of energy mode.
Mhm.
So I'm always going. So for me to come up with that is only a few minutes, just because my mind's already going.
I think almost for an extrovert, it almost becomes like more dangerous because you're an extrovert and you think your strengths are you're around people all the time and
Yeah.
constantly involved in things.
Yeah.
So I'm finding that I'm starting to like kind of switch to where like I feel depleted if I'm not setting that time aside and I don't know how to incorporate that in my extrovertness.
Yeah. So can you give me an example of like one thing where you would like to set a boundary?
Well, like saying no, like I go from event to event to event to thing to thing, and before I can get home and process it and make my notes, I like go to bed and then I wake up and then I look at my calendar and do it all over again. So you never really get that downtime to like process it and, you know, reflect on it or.
So for example, if it's a girlfriend reaching out to you and saying, hey, I want to hang out, blah, blah, blah. I mean, we are still in control and we can always say, hey, let me check my calendar. Let me get back to you. I do that.
Or what about work stuff? Because like when you're in sales or something, like your work, it kind of becomes your personal.
Yeah.
I think that's what I always worked like 9 to 5 and then weekends were fun, right? But now that like your work, and if any of you are in like, you know, you're building your own business and things, your work kind of becomes your friends and then your friends become your work.
Yeah.
So I think setting that boundary actually is like, what is work and what is friends? And then you don't want to let a friend down, but yet if it's work, you set a boundary and just.
Is it something where you can say, can we schedule it and schedule it out? Is that an option?
Oh, for sure.
Okay. Because I know when my kids were little and you know how kids are, you know, they're like, I need it like now, immediately, you know, and I would still say, you know, to my child, you know, yes, let's do that. Let's put it on the calendar. And it could be 2 or 3 weeks from now, but it's there, you know, so it doesn't have to be today. That's how I look at it. Yeah.
Could we possibly also schedule ourselves first throughout the week and be like, Monday, I'm gonna go for a walk at this hour. Tuesday, I'm gonna journal at this hour. Wednesday, I'm gonna read a book at this hour.
Time blocking, yeah.
What I feel like my big hang up is I say yes to everybody else before I say yes to myself. And then at the end of the day, I'm like, oh, I never do go on that walk.
Yeah.
And I never did go read that book.
Not the waking up early, it's the only way I can do that is to wake up early.
That's where having a routine comes in handy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where having a routine comes in handy.
This could just be my experience, but what happened for me is
You wouldn't do
when
it.
kids are little, like you have to physically take care of them. So there are certain things that you have to put aside, like, I might want to go get a massage, but I actually have to change diaper and feed a child or they're not gonna. So then there comes a time like when they get older and older, so it's hard to transition back to, you know what I mean? Like, no, like there are things that I can, self-care, take care of myself versus doesn't always have to be this, child first. Because there is a just transition when they're little. There's things you have to do. Can't rush
But if
yourself.
you put it on your calendar, like I'm gonna walk from this time to this time, and a girlfriend calls you and says, hey, can we blah, blah, blah? And you look in your calendar, and I'm like, oh, I'm walking at this time. I actually have a girlfriend, we hang out all the time, and she knows I walk my dog every single night around that time, and so she'll just walk with me. Yeah, so maybe invite a friend.
Or sometimes I learned you don't have to say, like, I always like say too much. Sometimes you don't have to say what you're doing. Whether it's painting your nails or whatever, you can say, oh, I'm scheduled at this time, but I'm available at this time. And I think we feel guilty saying I'm getting a massage or I'm getting a facial or whatever your self thing is. So I think it's like we learn to not explain what that time allotment is and just say, oh, I'm already scheduled, but I can meet you at this time or something.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to get around.
Yeah. Lauren?
Okay, I have a question about your board, which I think is so cool.
I love that.
Where do you put it?
Mhm.
And how do you feel if you put it in a public area of your home or whatever, and people see it and they comment on it? Do you feel weird or do you feel, I don't know, how do you feel?
No, I would say thanks.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
What if they're like, what is this? Ew.
Well, then
Well, if they're saying ew, then there shouldn't be.
They should friends.
Yeah, friends.
I think the reason I asked that is because I think this is my own issue, but having something like that in my house actually makes me feel like embarrassed. I think I just come from a family who's very like, have it together, like all the time. Like the outside has to be really good.
Yeah.
And so to even put something up like that is like,
To me, that's
but I want it.
yeah. To me, I look at it like that's like having it together. If you have no goals and no dreams, then what are you doing?
That's great.
You know
But
what
I
I
know
mean?
exactly what she means though, because I'll put like little post-its everywhere, like little mantras and stuff. And I feel like everyone thinks I'm crazy until I got into the real estate world and I found out everyone reads these self-help books.
Exactly.
So I think it's like finding your tribe, like Jenna said, if they come in your house and think it's weird, then they shouldn't be in your tribe.
But what is
Yeah.
your take? Or what do you think about all that?
as far as putting it up in a place that people can see it,
Yeah.
yeah.
Or-
I would be happy to do it.
Or just put it in your bedroom if you're that
Yeah.
concerned.
Baby
or
steps.
No one has to see it.
You
It's
should
for
put it
you,
in a place that
really.
makes you happy though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like mine's in my office.
War room.
It's
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
vision for you, so if you want to keep it private, you can.
And something
You
that
don't have
she
to
mentioned
display
earlier, like having friends that you can call, make sure the friends you're talking to are positive friends.
Yes.
Mhm.
Don't call somebody, if you're feeling down and negative, don't call somebody who's gonna mope with you.
Right.
Mhm.
That's not gonna help you. You want somebody who's gonna encourage you, gonna uplift you, gonna be like, hey, I'm gonna come get you, let's go for a walk, or let's go grab a movie now that movies are finally open. Or like, let's get you out of this funk. Those are the kind of friends you wanna call to tell your problems with. You don't wanna call people that are gonna commiserate in your misery,
Mhm.
because that's not gonna help you. And if anything, it's probably gonna make you even more depressed, because they're gonna be like, yeah, your husband does suck. and My husband sucks too. That's not what you want.
Or you're never gonna get a husband.
Yeah.
Exactly.
My vision board's my phone's background.
Really? So I do that too. I do it on my phone, but I feel like I
Because
need
it's
to
for me.
expand.
Also, that's what it means. I got an input, you guys. So we're gonna be wrapping up, because I want to get people off of Zoom. So real quickly, let me share the screen so they can see it. Share. Okay, hopefully you guys can see the screen there. Here. So. oops. Let me go back. Mine. Yeah. Whoops, oh, darn it. Oh, shoot. Okay, hold on, let me go back. So our featured business, obviously at every Woven event, we always pick one featured business. And today I have Gina's, Gina Tevathasian, I always get her name mixed up. Tevathasian, who is with Beauty Counter Company, and she was actually our giveaway sponsor. So she actually wasn't able to be here today. She had another event, but she did create a quick little video about her products and why she's so passionate about it. So I'm gonna real quick share that with you guys. Hopefully you guys can hear it and see it.
Hi ladies, my name is Gina Tevathasian for those who don't know me, and I'm sorry I couldn't be there today. It's my husband and my wedding anniversary, so I couldn't make it, but I just want to honor Janice for creating this amazing organization to help women connect with each other, network with each other, and support each other's businesses. Thank you so much for all you do. You are amazing. And I am also honored to be giving a gift away today to all of you, to one of you lucky ladies. Thank you, Janice, for supporting in that. So it's a $150 value gift basket from Beauty Counter. So I am a consultant for Beauty Counter, which is a clean beauty brand, and our mission is to get safe products into the hands of everyone. Our motto is to formulate, educate, and advocate. So create the clean products, educate women on clean beauty, and then advocate. So we're going to Washington every year to talk to Congress and try to get laws passed to create cleaner products in the United States. So why do we need to do that? So in the US, there are 30 ingredients banned from our skincare products and makeup, while in other countries like the EU, there's 1,400 chemicals that are banned. So those chemicals that are banned are being used in US products. So our founder, Greg Renfrew, wanted to create a brand that was high performing because we as women need that, but also clean. So we ban over 1,800 chemicals that shouldn't be used in products. They cause cancer, infertility, endocrine disruption, and we have something called the Never List, which Janice has copies of and can share with you. And these are the common ingredients that we don't use in our products, but we have more, and they're listed on our website if you're interested in learning more about that. So we are a direct-to-consumer brand powered by consultants. So we empower women to build their own businesses that are financially rewarding while simultaneously making the world better. We are, all of our products are responsibly sourced. All of the ingredients are responsibly sourced, and all the packaging is sustainably packaged, so all recyclable. And we have amazing partnerships. Just to name a couple, J. Crew, Target, and Sephora have all had our products like in their stores for limited times. And the reason I'm a consultant for this is because I learned about it when my daughter was about 1. I started learning about all the ingredients that were toxic in her products and all the products we were using in our home. And I tried out these products and they're all phenomenal. So our whole family uses them. And I also researched a lot on ewg.org. You guys should look that up. And they also have an app called Healthy Living. It's a nonprofit that rates all of our products, and you can go in and see if it's rated an A to an F, the products you're using, and start swapping them out for cleaner products. And so I just want to share the products that are included in the gift basket today and what they are. So we have a Sugar Buff Body Polish. This is in the scent lemongrass. It feels like you're in a spa as soon as you smell it and start putting it on your body. So this will buff away dull skin and leave you with healthy glowing skin that's completely moisturized. It has organically milled sugar and sweet almond oil to help exfoliate and hydrate. So that's amazing. And then we also have this charcoal facial mask. This has a kaolin, is a kaolin clay mask with activated charcoal, so that purifies and balances and absorbs excess oil and just pulls all the impurities out of your skin. It has salicylic and lactic acid to aid as an exfoliant. And then we have a hydrating body lotion in citrus mimosa, which smells amazing. It's lightweight, fast absorbing, and it has safflower seed oil and jojoba butter. So this is amazing just for your whole body. And then lastly, but not least, we have this deodorant, which took us years to create, and it's incredible. I've used a lot of clean deodorants, and this one lasts all day. This one is in soft lavender. There's no aluminum. Aluminum is an ingredient you should absolutely avoid. And the best part is this container is reusable, so you can just buy the refill on this, and there's 2 other scents to use as well. So that's what's included in the basket today. Congratulations to whoever wins it. My information is in there if you have any questions about the products or you'd like to order anything else. And then Janice has my information there if anyone else wants it. Thank you so much and good luck.
All right, so let me stop the screen
I may have
share.
missed this, but how do we enter the giveaway?
Oh, the raffle ticket?
The raffle.
Did you do it? Did you not put your ticket in there? Did you not put your name in here? You got
I did
time.
not get a raffle ticket.
No, I asked everyone to put their name in the raffle ticket. If you have not done it, still is your chance to do it. Because I'm gonna be doing the gift basket first, but we have other goodies too. So who did not put their name in the raffle? Everyone did? Okay, so hurry up. Hurry up. Hurry up.
You put me in there right now.
Real quickly, so I did a poll and I asked people on Zoom, I asked them, and so I asked, what are your sources of stress? And people answered, shopping for others, family obligations, overeating and drinking, and overspending. But the top 2 were overeating and drinking and family obligations with their sources. So thank you guys for sharing on that. All right, so this is for the gift basket. And I didn't put my name in here, even though I did contribute. But just so you guys know, there is cards back there for people that I like from now on. I didn't do this at other woven events, but moving forward, if you guys want to bring, we want to support you, we want to help promote your business, bring bring business cards, we want to help support you. So you're welcome to bring those. So there are a couple of products and cards out there. Please visit them at the end. I'll show you the beautiful gift basket that Gina made.
Janice, what's also the best way to support and promote you? Like, what's your best outlet for that?
Referral.
Yeah,
social media.
Spread the word.
Yeah, social media is great. So this is the beautiful gift basket that she put together.
Love it.
And one person on Zoom, Diane, she says she buys these products and she says they're amazing. So, and there's her cards in the back. So this is for the gift basket first. So Sandy, let's have you draw it. All right. And Summer. All right, so here you are.
Thank you.
And congratulations. And so we have other goodies, don't fret.
Making sure.
So
No.
Sandy got a goodie as well. This is from Sandy.
Ooh, is it a book?
Oh, I hope it's a
How do I have to open it?
It looks
Oh,
like a book.
kids are- oh, they're all winners. Sorry.
Jump out of there.
Sorry. Here you go, Sandy, one more time. You can open it. And the winner of this one is Emma. Yay! There you go.
What is it?
You can open it if you'd like. Okay. And there's a few more. Do you want to share?
I don't think I'm a gift person.
Are Sandy?
Yeah.
So I do self-care parties. And
that's
I
cute.
also just did my own self-care journal, which should be out on Amazon in November. So I think this one's for the journal, and these 2 are for complimentary self-care sessions with me.
Okay, so let's do for the journal first.
Wow.
So here, Krista.
Oh, I love it.
Ellen.
Okay, and then these are for 2 complimentary sessions. All right, who wants to?
Marissa?
Oh, Marissa online.
Yay.
Marissa Taggart. Marissa, you get a free complimentary session. I will mail that to you. So I will get your address for that. And then one more complimentary session.
Lisa.
Oh, Lisa. Yes.
Yay.
Lisa Mary Thomas, if you're still online, hopefully you still are. No, she left. Oh, you have to be present to win. Somebody else get it.
We got another
One more
chance.
chance.
Here, dig real deep in there.
Diane.
Oh, Diane
dang it.
Estevez.
Is Diane
Is
on
she
there?
still here?
Woohoo!
Is she Diane? All right, we'll mail that to you guys. Thank you. Oh, that gratitude journal, she gave that to me. And that's amazing. I love that journal. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody on Zoom. I will send those out to the winners. And our next event, just so you know, won't be till January. And moving forward, just so you guys know, I used to do these monthly, and it's just really, it's a lot to do it monthly, and I want to provide good content for you guys and good speakers. So I'm playing with either doing it probably every quarter or every other month. So if I do it every quarter, that means these events are not going to happen very often, and I'm going to be really intentional about making sure I bring really good content. So please, you guys, please invite your friends. Please invite all your lady friends to come. We want this to be your group. It's not just mine, it's yours. So thank you again for coming, even in this rainy weather. And I appreciate all of you. And until next time. I will.